On the occasion of his first foreign trip since taking office, I had the opportunity to sit down with President Bolsonaro today. Here is that exclusive conversation. I started out by asking him about the trade talks he'll hold with President Trump just hours from now.
Pronto para discutir.
We do wish to further deepen our trade links with the U.S. Not only trade, but we do wish to engage in a number of different agreements. And we want to increasingly seek out a proper understanding with the U.S. with a view to further consolidating and further expanding our trade flows. Brazil does have a great deal to offer the U.S., and the same is true the other way around.
There's been some discussion of the possibility of a U.S. base, military base being located in Brazil. I know there have been concerns about Russia and Venezuela having joint military exercises and their influence in the region. Anything on that front?
Venezuela is very much on our order of business for the talks tomorrow, quite certainly.
Our president has said everything is on the table with respect to the U.S. What role, if any, do you see the Brazilian military playing in this conflict in Venezuela, or not at all?
Trump did mention all possibilities. We, in turn, cannot talk about all possibilities because we do face certain constraints. However, whatever is realistically possible on the diplomatic front by way of assistance or aid in such a way as to ensure that the U.S. can overcome this issue. The one country that is most interested in putting an end to Maduro's drug trafficking dictatorship is Brazil. So today we have a new ideology, a new approach as adopted in Brazil, and we feel very much obliged to seek out a more appropriate alternative so as to ensure that Venezuela can go back to peace, democracy, and liberty.
There are new polls that show here in the U.S. that our younger generation views socialism favorably. They do not have a negative impact or a negative impression, most of them, of socialism. What would you say to them about the realities of socialism?
As far as Brazilian young people are concerned, yes, you're right. But the fact is that more recently, young people have very much turned their back on socialism and on communism. I often stated that we could not possibly allow Brazil to get to where Venezuela is today. And Venezuela has come to where it is today precisely following the way politics was addressed under the Lula da Silva and the Dilma Rousseff administrations, which led a substantial portion of the Brazilian population, a young population, to adhere to that approach.
So what do you say to people here in the U.S. who look at socialism and have a favorable assumption about it, that they see something positive there?
Well, I see President Trump fighting that trend, and I couldn't agree more with him. I think he's right. And to a certain extent, we're doing very much the same thing in Brazil. I think it is fair to say that, the American people who think about socialism should look at the experience of France, where borders were open to receive refugees without any kind of sorting or filter, if you will. And having open borders, in my view, is absolutely poor a decision. It is not at all a good decision. We do agree with President Trump's decision or proposal on the wall.